Okay, so there's an article that Airsoft GI just put up over the top questions ever asked about Airsoft on Google. And most of these questions are things that get auto-filled whenever you type in Airsoft on the search bar. And honestly, I just thought I'd take a little break and answer these questions in this small little video, so maybe I can get some people to come into the game that are maybe too scared to jump into the game, because there's a few questions in here that I had when I was just starting off in Airsoft, when I was just looking up videos and thinking, should I really do this? So maybe this video will help out some of those people. And the first question is something that just about everyone's had on their mind. Do Airsoft BBs hurt? You're gonna By the way, where I'm filming right now, there are gigantic crows. Alright, so you're gonna see that a few of these questions are kind of objective, but here's my take on pain in Airsoft and how I used to think about it. The pain that you get when getting shot in Airsoft can be shrugged off pretty easily when you get your adrenaline pumping. Getting shot at a standstill when you're not expecting it, like as if you were just sitting on the couch watching TV, would hurt a lot, but then when you start running at full sprint, dodging incoming fire, you'll still feel it when it hits you, but you probably won't realize what kind of an impact was left on your skin until a little later on when you check out your skin. These hits that I got right here on me are from a close quarters game from about 10 or 15 feet away, and despite how they look, it felt like a small sting, but nothing else, so I just called my hit. If you really want to feel what it's like to get hit in Airsoft, then take a rubber band and slingshot it into your hand or your arm. It's going to get your attention, but everyone has their own pain tolerance. Getting blasted by 10 plus BBs all at the same time still hurts, but as long as you call your hit the first time, then you shouldn't worry about getting overshot by any common decent airsofter. Airsoft guns typically fire between 0.5 and 1.5 joules. At some fields, you can see sniper rifles encroaching on 2 joules of energy. Joules are a measurement of impact velocity, or in other words, how hard something hits you. A paintball gun in comparison hits at about 13 joules, which is much harder than an airsoft gun. See, that's a good answer to get some kind of comparison going. And using technical gear like vests, plate carriers, helmets, and so on with more baggy clothing will dampen the hit. Personally, getting shot in the tips of my fingers, the ears, and on the neck are the worst, and I never go into any game without something protecting my teeth. Because yes, you can lose a tooth or badly chip a tooth if you get hit hard enough, so maybe you should find a way to protect yours if you plan to join a game. Full face masks and iron mesh masks will definitely help out here. Next question, can airsoft guns kill? That's pretty easy to answer. No. I've been playing Airsoft and filming Airsoft for like 5 years, and besides a lot of bruises and some bleeders now and then, never have I been, or has anyone around me, ever been in any kind of life-threatening situation because of being hit by Airsoft BBs. Yeah, you can chip a tooth or cause a lot of damage to your eye if you were stupid enough to go into a game without eye protection, but that's about it. Funny enough, I've seen a video about Japanese farmers using airsoft guns to scare away monkeys from their crops, but the only major issues I've ever seen throughout my time playing and filming Airsoft has been because of environmental accidents, like someone falling into a manhole that was hiding in tall grass, or because of someone falling into a ditch when they were running full speed, causing a broken leg. That was pretty gnarly. So long story short, if you're trying to scam your life insurance provider with an Airsoft tragedy, I'd say that you should scrap that idea. Next up, is Airsoft a real sport? No, it's not. Just like how paintball isn't a sport, Airsoft isn't a sport. It's sad, but it's true. Yeah, both games are physically demanding when you get involved in the game modes that you're playing, but it's not as competitive as something like basketball or American football. Heck, even bowling is more competitive than Airsoft. You can think of Airsoft kind of like how you can with Call of Duty. You can play the game casually with friends, or you can join up with your friends to play competitively, and if you're really good, then you can go on to MLG competitions and play against other teams from all over the place like esports, with the closest equivalent for Airsoft being SpeedQB games. I just filmed some SpeedQB just last weekend, and that's where I got some of these hits, and the top team that won the competition won $1,000. But still, Airsoft is not a definite sport. Do adults play Airsoft? Absolutely, all sorts of people play Airsoft, from gamers, kids, adults, teenagers, ex-military, police officers, firefighters, and so on and so on. This is a game that encompasses so many different people thanks to the fact that there's so many ways that you can play the game, and thanks to the fact that just about every gun ever made has an Airsoft replica. and a lot of them are made pretty close to real things in regards to externals. Just in my collection alone, I have an M1 Garand replica with a beautiful wood stock, Type 97 replicas that are so good that even the Chinese People's Liberation Army uses them for training, a lovely MP5, Galils, FALs, a PSG-1, a SPOS-12, a pair of M14s, and a lot more. That's a huge factor to the crowd of people that join into the game. People just want to use their favorite guns as if they were playing Call of Duty in real life. And for a lot of others, it's a great way to challenge their real-world skills in an arena or on a field against dozens or possibly hundreds of people. I haven't even touched on milsim games, where people go out for several hours in one day or several days just so they can play large-scale events. And milsim itself means military simulation, so you use a lot of real skills in these games, or if you really want to, you could still play them kind of casually with your friends if you all go out at the same event. These kind of events can happen on huge plots of land too, so you can really use your imagination to play the game as you'd want to. Once you step into a couple games, you'll realize that a lot of adults play Airsoft. Some with their own children, some with their buddies, and some that will teach you a thing or two so you're not too scared in the first games that you start off in. I won't oversell it though. Airsoft isn't made of just old dudes that are just dodging child support payments, but yes, adults play Airsoft. The really interesting people that play Airsoft are the military vets like Travis Haley and Colonel Danny McKnight. They have a lot of interesting stories to tell, and they can show you how to use proper tactics. And you really got to give it to them for not taking the game too seriously and just having fun with it. Okay, so here's like the biggest question I've seen asked so many times. Do airsoft guns need that bright orange tip? Alright, so here's the story. US federal trade laws require all replica firearms to come affixed with a blaze orange tip, and they must be sold like that, but after they're sold, it's fair game. You can rip that thing right off the gun or paint over it as soon as you get it, and it's totally legal to do so in the United States of America. And most people do this. In the state of California, they require some strips of tape on all the airsoft replicas, but the same thing applies for those. Just take them right off once you buy the gun. Taking these tips off will often expose some threads underneath for suppressors, tracer units, or even just a new flash hider, but a lot of orange tips are either glued into place or have a small screw securing it to the threads. You'll really want to take these screws out first unless you're alright with goring your threads until they're completely useless. There's literally hundreds of videos on how to take the orange tip off of an airsoft gun, so you can go watch those, but nothing beats the old hot water in a pot technique unless you have a heat gun to your disposal. Okay, one more question just for fun. Are airsoft guns safe? Okay, so this is a pretty easy question because left alone, an airsoft gun and furthermore a real gun or a paintball gun won't do anything if you don't touch it. It's a tool. Furthermore, it's a replica of a tool, and only you can be held responsible for what you do with it and what can happen to your surroundings when using an airsoft gun. If you shoot out your computer screen with your airsoft gun and say it was a mistake, well, that's still your fault for putting your booger picker in the trigger guard. The same thing applies if you shot the ceiling of your home with a real shotgun. It's your own fault. And you have to be 18 years or older in the United States to purchase an airsoft gun by yourself, so I'm sure your parents would be pretty infuriated if they came home to see their 4K curved smart TV in the living room looking like this. You can pretty much consider yourself deleted at that point. The weapon is safe until you decide to do something with it that makes it unsafe. Any trouble that can be caused with an airsoft gun is totally avoidable if you're a responsible owner. Don't keep your guns loaded when out of a game, keep your fingers out of the trigger guard when not engaging a target, and don't shoot stuff that you shouldn't be shooting in the first place. And don't take your airsoft guns in the public without a bag or a case that completely surrounds the replica. I'm not trying to be your parents here, but it's stuff like this that gets airsoft and gun ownership a bad name. And most airsofters aren't going to feel bad for you if you get arrested because you did something stupid with an airsoft gun. We're probably just going to make fun of you. And that's just about it. And it sounds like everyone behind me on the roads are just racing their stupid Mustangs. The Airsoft GI guys have a lot more to say about these questions in their article that will be linked down below in the description, but I actually enjoyed looking at these questions that probably should have been answered by more people long ago. Looking up Airsoft into the Google search bar, you'll find a lot more stuff to cover, and maybe we can do another one of these videos sometime in the future. So leave your ideas in the comments down below, or if you have a question that you'd like to have answered, then also add that in the comments down below. Next up, I have an MP5 review that should have been put together a long time ago, and a KWA Ronin T6 review that I need to get started on. But I guess until those reviews are out, or at least until that next video drops from the city of San Antonio, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I'll be sure to see you all next time. Also, I tried like doing this video like 5 different times, and every single time I found a cool spot, and I'll probably put some footage in on some of the spots I found. Every time I sat down to start the filming, some kids would keep sitting right next to me and get as loud and as obnoxious as they possibly can, even though there were other seats around me, like this area where there's no one else around me. You could have sat all the way in the back or anywhere else, but they would basically almost sit right next to me and just get really loud. So this video was really fun, but I like the spot that I picked, I guess. Hopefully you guys did too. Alright, so this spot made the most sense to me. You had the water, the sun, the buildings. It looks very calm and nice and pleasant. This would have been a nice backdrop for the video. And I'm so far away from everybody, so why would anyone walk over here? Especially since that leads nowhere and that door is locked. So why would you come all the way over here and sit right here when I'm filming right here and be as loud and obnoxious as you can be? And there was 4 people. Why would you do that? You had to have been doing that on purpose. Whatever. This is still a nice spot. It looks really nice and it's calming. Yeah, this will probably be the outro video.